Hello and welcome. This is Out Motorsports. My name is Jake and this is the 2021 Lexus RX 350 FSport Black Line. Now we all know the Lexus RX. It's kind of the quintessential mom crossover since the RX first debuted in 1998. I had a friend whose mom had one of the very first RXs, and that's just kind of the image I've got ingrained in my head. Now, Lexus has tried to change their image over the years with the RX and all their other vehicles. They're not trying to be just a luxury brand. They're also trying to add a little bit of performance to some of their models. And they've got the FSport trim level on pretty much everything they sell at this point. And the FSport is not like a full-on performance upgrade. It's more minor performance upgrades that do make the vehicles a little more interesting and better to drive if you like the art of driving. So this 2021 RX 350 is an FSport model. They don't offer an RXF. That would be really silly, but maybe they could do it. In any case, this is a special edition. This is the RX 350 FSport Black Line, of which Lexus is only making 1,000 of for the 2021 model year. So this one is painted Grecian blue pearl, which is a beautiful color, and you probably can't get it unless you find one of these already on a dealer lot. If you go to build a 2021 RX 350, you won't find this color available on the configurator. But regardless, the 2021 RX 350 FSport is the same car other than the little touches of the Black Line model. So let's talk about what that all is and then see if it's actually any good to drive. So to start, what is this Black Line model? Like I said, this is on top of the regular FSport package. I'm gonna read you a quote from the press release for the Black Line because it is, well, just listen and see what you think. Blue stitching is also found on the exclusive floor and cargo mats for a reminder that we must never stop looking or dreaming. So Lexus apparently thinks that when you buy the RX 350 FSport Black Line with this special Grecian blue paint and the blue trimmed floor mats, it's a reminder that you must never stop looking or dreaming. Take that for what you will. But regardless, the RX 350 FSport, if you don't get the Black Line, is still a little hotted up compared to the regular RX 350, and it's important to note that you can get the FSport as both an RX 350 or the RX 450h, which is a hybrid version of this vehicle. Now this one, like I said, is the 350, so it is the gas-only powertrain. So what does the FSport trim level actually get you here? Well, it's important to note that you can get the FSport with either the RX 350, which is the gas-only 3.5 liter V6, or the RX 450h, which is the 3.5 liter V6 that they've turned into a hybrid. So in either case, you can get an FSport, and you can also get an FSport with front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. The interesting thing with all-wheel drive is that Lexus has given you a button to lock the center diff, so it lets you have a little bit of extra control, but that is not an FSport exclusive feature. That's just what they do with the all-wheel drive here. So as far as the FSport on this RX 350 in particular, again, you start with that 295 horsepower, 3.5 gas-only V6, the 8-speed automatic, and in this case, the all-wheel drive. You're gonna have upgraded 20-inch wheels here. These are black because of the Black Line, but with the regular FSport, they would be some sort of silver wheel. You're gonna have black mirror caps, and you're going to have a set of performance dampers. That is really the only performance upgrade you're going to get. They are going to be differently valved dampers, or you might consider them shock absorbers, both front and rear compared to the regular RX 350 or RX 450. Everything else that you're going to see is basically visual updates between little things with bumpers, wheels and mirror caps like I mentioned, and then moving inside you do have unique front seats that are more heavily bolstered on the sides and on the butt cushion, and you're going to get some other little differences like pedal covers and a perforated leather steering wheel and a perforated leather gear shift. All very little things that make the car feel a little more sporty, and the final touch is a unique gauge cluster that will have that center tachometer like a lot of the other Lexus FSport and F cars do. But those are the only differences, so my question is the RX 350 FSport in particular worth it to someone who cares about driving and the driving experience, or is it a little bit of a swing and a miss compared to some of Lexus's other FSport models? So with that said, let's get behind the wheel and see how this thing is to drive. All right, so driving the 2021 Lexus RX 350 FSport. Like I said, the biggest performance difference with the FSport, whether you get this Black Line package or not, is the dampers, or what you might think of as shock absorbers. They are differently valved. They are going to be a little stiffer and a little more performance oriented than the regular RX 350, but truly everything beyond that is really more of a visuals upgrade than anything else. So is the RX 350 worthy of this FSport upgrade? Because it's $3,000 more than a regular RX 350. And if you want more performance out of the RX 350 FSport, you have to get a separate $1,000 handling package, which this car doesn't have. That will give you adaptive dampers that will get stiffer or looser based on your drive mode selection, and it will give you an FSport tuned electronic power steering setup. So it might be a little bit firmer, a little bit more responsive, but this one is just the regular RX 350 with different seats, different wheels, and different shock absorbers or dampers, whatever you want to call them. And I just don't know if this is really FSport worthy. There's a lot of soupiness going on with the RX 350, and that's kind of because that's what the RX 350 is. The RX has never been a performance vehicle. It's always been this luxury first, nice way to travel. And you still have a lot of that with how all the controls respond. You know, you've got paddle shifters here, but they are a little slow to respond and they don't always listen to your inputs. The throttle pedal responds, but there is a noticeable lag between when you push the pedal and when it actually responds. And I don't really know if what you're getting is worth it here. This car absolutely handles well for what it is, but you're still on all-season rubber, even when you get the 20-inch wheels with the FSport package. And again, I can downshift, we can go into a corner. All of this is very fine, it's very pleasant, but most RX drivers will not do this. And you can hear my camera gear rolling around in the back. And the people that do this can do it in a regular RX 350 and it'll be just fine. The drivetrain will listen to you as much or as little as this one does. And it's otherwise not really very sporty. So I just don't know if I would get super excited about the FSport package here. And even if you add in that handling package, does anyone think an RX is going to be super duper sporty? I think other brands, you know, the BMWs and the Audis of the world, have convinced people that their sporty trim levels are really worth something. And I know Lexus is trying so hard here, and I just don't know if it works. You know, the other big thing you get with the FSport package is the upgraded front seats. And I'm always a big fan of upgraded front seats because I like a sporty, heavily bolstered seat. And the bottom butt cushion to me on these actually feels a little thin, so I don't particularly like them that much. And the bolsters are great for me, but I can tell you, if you're any wider than I am, you will probably find them to be a little tight. They don't move. Some cars will have bolsters, especially on the sides of your body, that can inflate or deflate based on your body size and your body type, and these don't do that. So, you know, you have to really test sit and see if it's worth it. And the interesting thing here is also, I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but through some fairly mild cornering, I'm getting tire squeal. And that's kind of disconcerting in a, you know, FSport model. It's designed for better cornering. I mean, it's on 20-inch all-season tires, so, you know, it's not going to be super duper sporty. But I just think that the RX, given its roots, you know, it's very much a luxury car first. I just think it's all very silly to have this as an FSport. And if you really want this as an FSport, then sure, it's not a bad car. But I personally think the RX would be more true to its form and at its best as just a regular RX. And truthfully, I'd probably end up buying the hybrid. I think the 3.5 V6 is fine, but I think getting the hybrid would just add another element of creaminess and suppleness and Lexusness to this car that really makes it so appealing in the first place. You know, to make the RX feel really, really Lexusy, I think it needs to be that buttery, smooth over everything, hybrid, wood trim. Like, I want this thing to coddle me. I don't want an RX to be sporty. I want a soft, supple ride, soft, supple, wide seats. This is a highway cruiser, not a backroads, you know, tear up every corner sort of car. So, do I like the RX? Yes. Do I think the drivetrain in it is pretty good? Sure. Do I think the hybrid would be a better version of this, and especially in non-FSport trim? Absolutely. So I just don't know what the appeal is of the FSport here. On something like the IS, rear-wheel drive sport sedan from the get-go, you want the sportier version of the IS, sure, get the FSport. Get it with the bigger V8 that's coming later this year. But when you have something like this, I just think it's better off without. All right, and that is it for this review of the 2021 Lexus RX 350 FSport Black Line in Grecian Blue Pearl. Thank you so much for coming along. As always, please take a second, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please be sure to follow us on other social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram at Out Motorsports. And if you're looking to connect with a community of LGBT automotive enthusiasts and a bunch of our ally friends, please head over to outmotorsports.com. We have a whole community over there and we would love to meet you. Until next time, please stay safe, be well, and see you again soon.